Now, we regularly look at headphones on this channel, but most of the time they are more centered towards mixing or editing and the kind of thing you'd find in a studio. So when Mackie, the guys known for their studio related products, sent over their latest pair of headphones, we were surprised to find out they're actually more for everyday use. For this reason, we sort of ummed and ahed about whether or not we should review them or not, but eventually came to the conclusion, yeah, why not?
This video is made by Radio.co. To start your free Radio.co trial in seconds, head to Radio.co and click on the pricing page.
Before we get into it, let's take a look at the specs. You get in Bluetooth 5.0 wireless technology, the aptX HD codec supports 24-bit audio, you get an MIS wideband active noise cancelling, you got touch controls, you can connect up to 2 devices simultaneously, there's 2 high quality microphones on the headphones themselves, and there's wireless charging included with 35 plus hours of battery life. Now, these are all the specs you would find in any other noise cancelling cans, so there's no reason we shouldn't be comparing these to other headphones on the market. But the one I really want to compare these to is the Sony XM4s, which aren't Sony's latest headphone offering, but they are still one of the most popular, and you see them absolutely everywhere, and there's no getting around that these look pretty similar. You could also probably compare these to Beats, but I'm not going to because I don't want to. So while the specs are about the same as other headphones in this price range, you might notice there's nothing that really makes these stand out. Apart from one thing, these actually have wireless charging. Wireless charging is a pretty standard feature in earbuds now, but I don't think I can recall ever seeing them in headphones. And they haven't actually cheaped out on the wireless charging pad either. It lights up with a pretty cool green ring when you put it on, and it works with any devices, not just the headphones themselves. It's obviously slower to charge than just a USB-C input, which is also obviously included on the headphones themselves, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty nifty. And I know it's just like, it's probably so cheap for them to just chuck this in and therefore get something to look cool. Also included is obviously your USB-C cable in case you didn't want a wireless charge. And also you're going to get your aux cable as well if you'd like them wired. The included case is pretty good. Pretty sturdy. That's not gonna take any knocks. It's built well. I like it. A bit of Mackie branding on the front. Again, very similar to another headphone maker on the market. So yeah, we've already mocked how similar these are to the XM4s, and there's no real getting around that. The XM4s are popular for a reason, and the look and feel of them is certainly a reason for that. The MC-60BTs only come in one color as opposed to the 2 or 3 that Sony provide, and it's a sort of gray-black mix, which doesn't look bad, and you get the green buttons on the side, which I think looks lovely. Lovely. I don't think I've ever described headphone buttons as lovely before, but there you go. The build is all plastic. Plastic is incredibly light, and for that reason, so are these. The AirPods Max are famously beautiful headphones to look at, but my golly gosh, they're heavy because they're made out of metal. I don't want metal on my head. I'm not a Cyberman. The big obvious negative to plastic is the environmental impact. And I know a lot of manufacturers like Google and Sony these days are trying to cut back on the plastic or use recycled plastic. I don't think there's any of that here from Mackie, not that I can see anyway, so that is a bit of a negative. They fold up perfectly, like so, and you can also twist them that way. You can't twist them 360, which is a bit annoying if you, say, prefer, I don't know, that way up. But yeah, apart from that, pretty good in terms of flexibility. The ear cups themselves are a nice leather, and I've worn these for hours on end now, and I've not felt any discomfort really. I imagine if you wore these for like, I don't know, an 8-hour flight, you're probably going to feel a bit of warmth and a bit of tiring in the ears, but overall, not bad. There's also a leather cushioning on the top, and the band itself is quite tight straight out of the box, but I think over time it has loosened, which is probably to be expected. In terms of controls, unfortunately, it's touch controls. I hate touch controls so much. Like, I get they look minimal. I get it looks neat, but I'd rather a button than just be doing this all day and it not work. But no, here we have to swipe sideways to skip a track, we have to swipe up to do the volume, and we have to tap it to pause and play. Theoretically, that should work, and sometimes it does. I'd say 6 times out of 10 it does. And I'd say the 4 times out of 10 it doesn't work is usually pausing and playing. It just doesn't work. I can never find where it is. Maybe over time I would. I certainly did a bit with the Sonys, but even then, it's just not what you want. Well, it's not what I want anyway. Maybe you want it. Maybe I'm going to get angry comments down, but maybe everyone loves touch controls. Oh, I didn't think about this. Maybe I'm on my own. Let me know if you like touch controls. Please, surely I'm not alone. Another thing with skipping is sometimes you get a little beep when you've skipped a track, but you don't get a little beep when you turn the volume up. So sometimes it's hard to know if you've actually turned the volume up until there's like a boom, and then you're like, oh god, okay, better turn it down. So yeah, just a little bit annoying. The physical buttons that you do get are obviously the green ones I mentioned before, which are the power button and the noise cancelling / ambient button. Now, I said I like the look of them, which I do, but in a practical sense, they are not good. I was about to swear then. So again, this is that minimal thing. They've made them really thin, so they blend in. They barely stick out, barely. So when you've got them on your head, you can't feel them. You don't know where they are. I'm desperately searching for them the other day, and eventually I had to just take the headphones off to figure out where they were. Again, with familiarity, with use over time, you'd probably figure out where they are, and it would just be like, boom, done. But this doesn't need to be an issue. Like, just make them stick out a little bit more, and we wouldn't have this issue. With the Sonys, again, they have the stupid touch controls, and that annoys me, but they have buttons that stick out, and that's what you want, surely. Anyway, bizarre design choice, but you can get past that. Well, anyway, that's all well and good, but that means nothing if they sound crap. And the good news is, they don't. In fact, they sound pretty good. They're very nice on the lows. They get a little bit tinny on the highs, and they're not the bassiest headphones in the world. They're not going to be like a match for something like the School Candy Crushers. The noise cancelling isn't bad, but it's also not great. They're going to happily block out stuff like background noise, traffic, train, and plane tones, but nearby noises and voices will still be audible. Now, that's to be expected from any noise cancelling headphones, but again, compared to the Sonys, you can tell there's a bit of a difference.
Hey you, yes you, did you know you can start your very own radio station right now for free? Yes, for free. Simply click the link in the corner to start your 7-day free trial today.
Basically, they're not going to transport you to complete silence, but when there's music playing, they work very well. I do think the earcups are probably doing most of the work though. When I actually put them on, there's quite a substantial difference in the noise cancelling, but when I actually turn them on and like the noise cancelling kicks in, it doesn't really make much of a difference. So yeah, well done, cups. Ambient sound is pretty good. Your own voice in particular definitely receives a boost. It just doesn't sound as natural as some of the headphones on the market. But overall, sound quality, noise cancellation, I'm impressed. For the price, they are not that bad. Okay, so like I said, these look very similar to the XM4. They're priced very similar to the XM4, so it probably makes sense that we do a bit of a comparison. Basics first, Bluetooth. The connection to both is great with version 5.0, and both have the ability to connect 2 devices at once. I'd actually say that the Mackies have the upper hand here. They just seem slightly more reliable in this regard. Another feature similar to Sony is the cover to speak feature. Basically, if you hold the right ear cup, it will automatically switch you over to ambient sound. This is handy whenever someone is trying to talk to you, but you're vibing to the Audio Insider podcast, available now with all good podcast providers. All you have to do is simply cover the ear cup, listen to what boring stuff they're trying to tell you, and then get straight back to your podcast. I'd say both of these work about the same, but neither's ambient sound actually sounds very natural. Okay, so now what the Mackies lack. The first and most obvious is an app. This ultimately means you can't customize the Mackies in any way. What you get out of the box is what you're listening to. Sony, on the other hand, have a pretty good Headphone Connect app, which allows you to change your EQ, connect it like through Google Assistant, see listening statistics, and much more. My favorite feature is the automatic noise cancelling, which allows you to select certain locations that you want noise cancelling on, basically meaning that when I'm in my flat, I have full noise cancellation, but when I leave, it reduces a little bit while I'm traveling, and then when I get to the office, noise cancelling kicks in again. Another key difference is another quality of life feature, and that is head detection. So basically, the XM4 has a little detector in the left ear cup that lets you know when they're on or off your head. This allows them to pause whatever you're listening to whenever they're removed. And I actually prefer this than holding the ear cup when someone's talking to me. It's really quick. Just take them off, hear what they're saying, put them back on, music resumes instantly. The XM4s also turn off automatically once they've been off your head for a while, which the Mackies can't do. Battery life is also different, but this one actually goes to Mackie, who has 35 plus hours, like I mentioned before, whereas the Sony XM4s only have about 30. But all this stuff could arguably be overlooked if the noise cancelling is as good. Unfortunately, like I mentioned before, it isn't. But I mean, it's going up against Sony, who are pretty much unmatched in this regard. The XM4s have a much more condensed, fuller feeling, like you're in one of those cushioned noise-proof rooms. It blocks out pretty much all noise, but some particularly loud stuff will still get through, like loud bangs, trams, and obviously people talking again. I've noticed that the Mackies feel a bit less condensed in your head, like a bit less like you're being squished. And Sony also has a sort of like to their noise cancellation, which I've not found here. Finally, there's the price. The Sonys are an extra £50 at £250, but they regularly go down to $225 or even $200. So the question is, are these any better? Should you pick these up when they're at the same price or when they're only £25 less? Personally, I don't think so. I think the XM4s just give you a lot more content to enjoy. And while these are good, Sony is king with noise cancellation. However, if you're putting these up against the XM5s, which are actually Sony's latest headphone offering, then these are looking like a pretty good budget alternative. And if ever the XM4s disappear or they stop making them, then these will surely do well. And some people hate the XM5s because they don't fold up. And look, these do. Good stuff. So like I said, these aren't made for mixing, but just in case you are planning to use these for mixing as well, we did do a little test. The latency here is no worse than with other Bluetooth headphones that we've tried, and there's obviously the option to make them wired with the included TRRS aux cable. Got there in the end. But like I say, don't be fooled by the Mackie name. There's no major efforts here in regards to mixing and editing. And if you do want a pair of headphones just for that, then obviously we recommend looking at Mackie's other headphones or even Rode's offering like the NT100. So should you rush out and grab this pair of headphones? Well, it's a tricky one because there is alternatives out there which are arguably better for the same price. But that doesn't mean these are bad. Like, I've had a lovely time using these headphones. They're basic. They're sort of stripped back to maybe how Bluetooth headphones were a couple of years back, but they're good. I like them. There's a few weird design errors and those swipe controls are annoying. But what do you guys think? Please let us know down in the comments. And as always, please give us a like, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We do love to hear what you think. Unless you're going to be mean, in which case, well, I can still be mean, but I'm not gonna read it. Or well, I will read it and I'll cry. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Happy broadcasting.
And just before you go, have you ever thought about launching your very own internet radio station? Surprisingly, it's a lot easier than you may think, especially when you make the time to chat to myself or a member of the Radio.co team. To do just that, head to our website, Radio.co/demo, where I can talk about your plans, any questions you may have, and me and the team can really get you up to speed in launching your own internet radio station in literally minutes. It couldn't be easier. Why not check out some of our webinars, tutorials, help guides situated around me? Or why not visit our website, Radio.co, or even drop me an email, studio@radio.co. Until next time, take care and happy broadcasting.